It started like most Friday evenings had started lately. Her rushing around the house, spritzing perfume, tapping through outfit options, barely looking me in the eye. I was on the living room floor with our daughter, Mia, building a zoo out of magnetic tiles. Giraffes made of yellow triangles. A lion that looked more like a toaster. She giggled, proud of her design, and I forced a laugh, my heart already somewhere far from the room. "Can you watch her tonight?" Brooke asked, mascara wand in one hand, phone in the other. "Just for a few hours. Girls' night." "Sure," I said like I always said. Because I wanted her to feel supported. Because part of me was still trying to earn something I didn't realize I'd already lost. She didn't kiss me goodbye. She used to. Even just a light one on the shoulder, even when she was late. But now it was a tossed, "Thanks, babe," as she grabbed her heels and slung her purse over her shoulder. When the door clicked shut, the silence that followed was heavier than it should have been. Brooke and I had been married 7 years. We met in college. I was bartending nights to pay for my degree, and she was the confident one with the laugh that filled the whole room. She said I had eyes like I'd already seen too much, and I told her she had a smile that made people forget where they were. I meant it. Still do, maybe. I don't know. Things changed slowly. Not all at once. That's how you miss it. After Mia was born, we drifted. Not in a storm. More like a slow, gentle current that pulls you away from shore while you're busy watching clouds. She found new friends through her job. Her boss loved team bonding, which mostly meant upscale bars and awkward brunches. I never complained. I figured, she works hard, she deserves it. But there were signs. Late returns with makeup still fresh. Laughter through the phone, then sudden silence when I walked in. A password change on her Instagram. Then her claim that it had been hacked. I told myself I was overthinking. That if I kept being good, being helpful, being the man she could lean on, she'd circle back. She always had before. But tonight, something felt different. Like I wasn't just babysitting Mia. I was being kept busy. After Mia was asleep, sprawled sideways in bed like a starfish, I sat at the kitchen table with a beer I didn't really want. Her laugh echoed in my head. The version of her that used to tell me everything. Then, without even thinking, I opened Instagram. Not hers. She'd blocked me from her stories a while back. Said she didn't want work people seeing our home life. But she forgot about Kelsey, her coworker, someone I still followed, someone not quite careful enough with privacy settings. The first image stopped me mid-sip. A rooftop lounge. Candles, champagne, skyline glowing behind them. Not all girls. Not by a long shot. Second photo, a boomerang. Laughter. Glasses clinking. Brooke was in the middle, leaning against someone. A man. Familiar. Too familiar. James. Her work husband. The one she swore was harmless. "He's gay, babe," she once said. Literally zero threat. Except he wasn't. And I knew it. I'd seen the way he looked at her when he thought I wasn't watching. That subtle, possessive lean. The inside jokes she never shared with me. The time she called me James by accident and laughed it off like it was nothing. The third photo wasn't from Kelsey. It was a repost from another guy in the group, someone I didn't know. It was a video. Brooke dancing, arms around James's neck, his hands on her waist. Not casual, not innocent. Her head tilted back in a laugh I hadn't heard in months. I paused the video. There, frozen on my screen, was the version of Brooke I hadn't seen in a long time. Radiant, open, entirely somewhere else. She looked like a woman in love, just not with me. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I stared at the phone, waiting for it to morph into something else. A joke, a misunderstanding. But it didn't. It just stayed there, silent and still. I walked upstairs. Mia was still asleep, curled up with her favorite stuffed elephant. I knelt beside her bed, brushing the hair from her eyes. "Hey, Peanut," I whispered, even though she couldn't hear me. "You're gonna be okay, no matter what." I don't know why I said it. Maybe because I wasn't. The front door opened just past midnight. I was still at the table, same beer, now warm. She walked in humming, kicked off her heels, and smiled, that lazy, practiced smile. How was she? "Asleep," I said. My voice cracked a little. "Easy night." She nodded, pulled off her earrings. "Told you she's an angel." I looked at her, really looked. The shimmer on her collarbone. The faint smudge of someone else's cologne on her jacket. She didn't even notice my phone sitting face up on the table, the paused video still on screen. I didn't ask. Not yet. Because in that moment, I realized something. I didn't want her to lie. I wanted her to tell the truth, even if it broke me. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. She tossed her things on the hallway bench like it was any other evening, humming some song I didn't recognize. I watched her move through our house, her house, like everything was normal. She poured herself a glass of wine, not a care in the world, as if her husband hadn't just watched her slow dance with another man on a rooftop. Maybe I should have yelled, slammed something, held up the phone and said, "Explain this." But I didn't. Instead, I got up, kissed Mia on the forehead again, and went into the guest room. She didn't ask why. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. Made pancakes, played music, wore one of my t-shirts like it meant something. And I played along. I smiled, ate, nodded when she talked about a great night with the girls. She lied with such practiced ease that I almost believed she believed it. Like the truth wasn't even real to her anymore. After breakfast, she kissed me on the cheek and said she had errands to run. "Need anything?" she asked me from the doorway. I just shook my head. She left, and I sat there for a long time, the taste of syrup thick in my throat, like something sweet trying to cover something rotten. I started noticing things I'd overlooked before. Patterns. Subtle tells. Her phone was always face down. Always silent. She used to love tagging me in things. Dad jokes, parenting memes, throwbacks to our beach trip. That stopped months ago. Now her feed was polished, curated, full of vague captions and filtered smiles. I went back through her Instagram. Every night out story from the past few months had the same faces. Kelsey, James, sometimes others. Always cropped just right. Always just enough plausible deniability. But I saw the patterns. I saw him. More than once. The way he hovered near her. How her smile shifted slightly when he was in frame. Softer. Less performative. Familiar. There was a photo from 3 weeks ago, posted by someone else. A group selfie at some speakeasy downtown. Brooke and James weren't in the center of the frame, but you could see their hands. His on her knee. Hers on his. I zoomed in until my phone shook in my hand. That night, I barely slept. Not because I was angry. Not yet. I was trying to remember when I'd stopped being her person. Not just romantically, but her person. The one she looked for in a room. The one she leaned on. And I couldn't remember. 2 days later, I picked Mia up from daycare and took the long way home. My brain was buzzing, racing with questions I was too scared to say out loud. What if I'm wrong? What if this is just emotional overthinking? What if I ruin everything for something that isn't what I think it is? But every time I let doubt in, I remembered that video. Her arms around James, eyes closed, smiling like a woman lost in something real. And suddenly it didn't matter if they'd slept together. Not in the legal sense. Not even in the physical one. What mattered was that she left me emotionally a long time ago. What mattered was that she didn't come home to me anymore. She came back to the house, to our daughter, to the image. But not to us. That night, after Mia was asleep, I sat Brooke down. "Can I ask you something?" I said. She looked up from her phone, annoyed at first. "Sure." I took a breath. "Are you happy?" She blinked. "What? Are you happy with me? With us?" She laughed. Not cruelly, just uncomfortably. "Where's this coming from? Just answer." She hesitated. "I don't know. Some days, yeah. Some days it's hard." "Hard?" I nodded. "Is there someone else?" Her eyes narrowed. "Why would you ask that?" "I saw a video. On Instagram. You and James." Her face flushed, not with shame, but with calculation. Like someone scanning for the safest response. "That was just dancing." It didn't look like just dancing. She scoffed, shook her head, and stood. "I can't believe you're spying on me now. That's what this is. You're going through people's stories to catch me doing what? Living? I just want the truth." "Well, maybe if you paid attention to me instead of acting like a martyr all the time, we wouldn't be here." That hit harder than I expected. I didn't say anything. I didn't argue. I just stood there as she stormed into the bedroom, muttering something about needing space. And for the first time in our marriage, I didn't follow her. The next day, she left again. No kiss. No timeline. Just, "I'll be out for a bit." This time, I didn't wonder where she was going. This time, I didn't open Instagram. I opened my laptop. I opened our joint bank accounts. I opened a folder I'd been avoiding. The one with the name of a lawyer I'd bookmarked 6 months ago, back when the silences between us started to last longer than the conversations. And I realized something else. I wasn't trying to catch her in a lie anymore. I was trying to remember who I was before the lying started. before love became suspicion, before partnership became pretending. Because when you're left babysitting the pieces of a family someone else is walking away from, you eventually stop waiting at the door. You start building your own exit. It was raining the day I met with the lawyer, a soft, persistent drizzle that blurred the windows of my parked car. I sat there for a while before going in, hands gripping the steering wheel, chest tight. Not because I was unsure. I wasn't. Not anymore. But there's a strange grief in admitting your marriage is no longer worth saving. The office was quiet, warm. There were pictures on the wall of the lawyer's family, 2 boys, a yellow lab, a beach in the background. I kept staring at them while he read through the details I'd brought. Bank statements, text screenshots, a printed still of the video from Instagram, though I hadn't been able to bring myself to explain it out loud. He didn't ask me to. He just nodded, took notes, and said, "It's not the worst I've seen, but it's not nothing either." That felt right. This whole thing, it hadn't been dramatic. Not loud. Not some soap opera betrayal with lipstick on collars and broken dishes in the sink. It was slower than that. Quieter, but no less final. Back at home, I started packing away the smaller pieces of myself. The ones she'd stopped noticing. My books. My old guitar. A few framed photos from before Mia was born, back when we were still us. She barely noticed. In fact, the only time she asked about anything was when I took down the canvas print in the hallway, the one from our wedding. The one she'd chosen. "What are you doing?" she asked, brushing her teeth in the bathroom doorway. "I'm putting it away." She spat into the sink. "Don't be dramatic." That word again. Dramatic. She used it like a shield. Like anything that made her uncomfortable had to be an exaggeration. I didn't respond. Just slid the canvas under the guest bed and kept moving. The final crack came a week later. Mia had a cold, and Brooke was out again, another team dinner, though she didn't even bother giving details this time. I sat with Mia on the couch, her head in my lap, warm with fever, breathing soft and shallow. We watched the same cartoon on repeat. I kept a cold rag on her forehead, checked her temperature every half hour. I texted Brooke. "Mia's sick. Low-grade fever. She's been asking for you." No reply. An hour passed. Then 2. It was past midnight when I heard the door. She walked in, barefoot, heels in her hand. Her eyeliner smudged. Her shirt wrinkled in a way that didn't look accidental. "Hey," she said, voice low. I stood up. "She asked for you. She's with you, isn't she?" "She wanted you." Brooke sighed, dropped her shoes on the floor. "I can't be everything all the time." "I didn't ask for everything," I said. "Just honesty." She looked at me then, like she was trying to decide which version of herself to be. And for the first time, she didn't choose denial. She sat down on the armrest of the couch, exhaled slowly. "It started with James," she said. I said nothing. She nodded at the silence. "I didn't plan it. It just happened. I felt seen. Like someone actually heard me. You stopped talking to me. Because you stopped listening." I swallowed hard. "Or because I stopped telling you what you wanted to hear." She didn't argue. That was almost worse. I sat down across from her, elbows on my knees. "I'm filing." She blinked. "You're what?" "Filing for separation. Then divorce. I've already started the process." There it was. No drama. No shouting. Just the end. She looked down at her hands. "So that's it. You ended it a long time ago, Brooke. I'm just catching up." The next few weeks passed like a dream you don't remember when you wake up. Blurry, strange, punctuated by sudden tears and awkward silences. She moved in with a friend. I stayed with Mia. We kept things civil. Polite, even. That made it harder sometimes. The version of us that could still make small talk about groceries while the wreckage of what we built smoldered beneath our feet. I got a new place. Smaller. Quieter. With a second bedroom, just for Mia. I put the giraffe zoo tiles in a clear bin in the corner. Her stuffed elephant sleeps beside her every night. One evening, after her bath, she looked up at me and asked, "Why doesn't Mommy live here anymore?" I paused. "Because Mommy and Daddy decided it's better if we have different homes." "Did you stop loving each other?" I looked into those wide, searching eyes, eyes that hadn't seen what I'd seen, hadn't heard what I'd heard. "No," I said. "But we stopped seeing each other." She nodded, like that made perfect sense. Then she curled into me and fell asleep. A few months later, I opened Instagram again. Brooke's profile was different. A new handle, new photos. James was in a few, but never tagged. Always in the background. Always implied. I scrolled once, then closed the app. I didn't need to know anymore. Sometimes people leave without packing, without slamming doors or shouting final words. They slip away emotionally first, while their bodies still sleep beside you. And by the time they go out the front door, they've already been gone for months. She asked me to babysit while she went out with friends. What she didn't realize was that in watching over Mia, I remembered what it felt like to truly care for someone, to show up, to stay present. She left looking for someone to see her. But I was the one who finally saw clearly. And I walked away, not broken, just finally awake.